Hello again and welcome to this next in our series in the videos on the Magdalene Institutions in Ireland in the 20th century. And today I'm here in front of what was the old Marion Vale, mother and baby and laundry in Newry, on the Armagh Road outside Newry here. And the only thing that's left, as you can see behind me, is the tree, the monkey puzzle tree. And that's the tree that you can see in all the old pictures of Marion Vale, Newry, mother and baby home. And for the purpose of this video today, it's the mother and baby home, not specifically the laundry that we're interested in. The laundry we'll deal with in further videos. Now, in a previous video, I explained the difference in mother and baby homes and laundries. They were different. They brought in different types of women. And in case you didn't see that video, just let me remind you what mother and baby homes were. They were there for one specific purpose. They were there to take in women who became pregnant outside of marriage. That's why they're called mother and baby homes. They were taken in here as a refuge, but at an awful price. The price was hard work, which went on right up until the moment of birth. And the routes in for these women into mother and baby homes, again, as I've explained in a previous video, number one, some of them came in willingly because they were put out of the family home and they'd nowhere to go except to lie in the street. They came in here, they're self-referred, they referred themselves in, but at a terrible price. They got refuge, yes, and shelter, but they had to work for it. And others were forcibly taken in by their parents because of their condition, which was seen as a stigma and a shame in society. And then more were taken forcefully in by the priest, again because of the shame and the stigma in society. Behind me here we have Marion Vale. Now, the stigma. These places were officially described as refuges for unmarried women and girls, but as I've explained, it was at a price. They were shunned by their families, and the shame and stigma attached to all this, they had to be put away into an institution out of society. They were regarded as sinners, fallen women, prostitutes, tramps, sluts, you name it, they got it thrown at them. And their babies were referred to by such derogatory names as bastards, illegitimate, the seed of Satan, the spawn of the devil. And they were told constantly, you are fallen women, you are nothing, you don't deserve to be in society. Yet, the reality was, it was very often, most often, rape or incest that got them pregnant in the first place. They were hardly sinners. They were innocent victims, guilty of no crime. And yet it was the victims who were incarcerated in these institutions, put out of society. Babies in here were kept in a separate part of the building, away from their mothers. And the mother's time allotted to being with the babies was very limited. This was all, of course, part of the punishment. And to prevent them bonding with the babies, because these babies were going to be given away for adoption very soon, forcefully taken from the mothers and put out for adoption, sent to all parts of Ireland, to England, to America, to Australia, all over the world. Babies out, money in, babies out, money in. It was all a money-making racket, selling babies for money. That's what they were all about. Now let us put some facts and figures onto Marion Vale here behind me. In January 2021, a Northern Ireland Government Department of Health report on mother and baby homes and laundries in Northern Ireland came out, and you can read it for yourself. It deals with the laundries from 1922 up to 1990. It's all on the internet. You can Google it and find the information for yourself. And the information I'm going to give you now is taken from this report on Marion Vale. It described it, first of all, why were these women here? And I quote from the report. The societal shame attached to illegitimacy, the impact of an unmarried daughter's pregnancy on their families, and the desire to conceal the truth from communal scrutiny are all apparent in Marionvale records, as is the case for other mother and baby homes. Now let's put some figures onto this home behind me here, Marionvale, and some facts. It was opened in 1955 on the site of the Good Shepherd Convent here on the Armagh Road in Newry, and it closed in 1984. And during that time it was open, a total of 1,399 pregnant women were admitted here. And it's regarded as a sister home, if you like, to Castlepollard and Bessborough in County Cork. Castlepollard, County Westmeath, Bessborough, County Cork. And these people who come in were meant to be first cases or first-time offenders. And the Marionvale admission numbers here follow the same pattern experienced in all other mother and baby homes in Northern Ireland in the post-war period. And according to the same report I mentioned a minute ago, entry numbers here in Marionvale were at their highest in the 1960s. And during that decade, 630 admissions came in. And that number in the 1970s fell to 492. And between 1980 and the closure here in 1984, the number went down to 154. Those are the figures of women who come in here. And the ages, what ages come in here? Again, the report tells us the age of those entering Marionvale here ranged from 14 years old, 14, to a number of women in their 40s. The majority of women were under 29 years of age, and the majority of them had home addresses here in Northern Ireland, with 202 from the Republic of Ireland and 43 from Britain. One woman was from Holland and one had no fixed abode. And where did these women give birth? Because Marionvale here did not have, as most other homes had, they had a labour ward, a labour room. A very austere one, no comfort and luxuries. This didn't have such a room. So the women here had to go to the nearby Daisy Hill Hospital to give birth. Now, from where did these women come? What was their route of entry into Marionvale here? Again, according to the report, of the women for whom the source of referral was being recorded, the largest amount, 33%, involved welfare authorities. The next largest proportion, 21%, were referred to here from Catholic organisations or homes, which included diocesan welfare offices, Catholic Protection and Rescue Society, and other religious orders. A further 16% were referred directly by individual priests, and 8% were sent by GPs or hospitals. And a further 17% were recorded as voluntary friends and family, or self-referrals. And, as usual, as in all of them, we have reports of victims of incest. And here for Marionvale, we have a report. In one case of a 17-year-old, the baby was described as a product of father-daughter union. In another case, involving a 15-year-old, it was described as incest. In this case, the girl's brother was the father of the baby. Now, where did these women go after they left Marionvale? Because once the baby was born and taken from them, and there's nowhere else to go, they probably end up in a laundry, transferred to a laundry, or else they might go home to their own home. But that was very seldom the case because they weren't allowed home because of the shame and stigma attached. So where did they go? According to the report again, on leaving here, the majority of women, 74%, returned to their previous addresses or to family and friends. However, only 17% of babies returned home with their mother. 8% of the women left Marianvale here for other institutions, and this included at least 60 women who went from Marianvale to St Mary's Home here in Newry. And where did the babies go? Where were the babies sent from Marianvale? Well, records again. The largest proportion of the newborn babies, 34%, were sent to Catholic voluntary homes. And this included 167 babies sent to Nazareth House in Portadown, 108 babies sent to St Clair's Baby Home in Stamullen, County Meath, 97 babies to Nazareth House in Belfast, and 67 to Nazareth House in Fawn, County Donegal. And the records here detail a number of adoptions that took place involving families in England and Scotland, and America as well, and Australia. And we have got case studies in Marianvale here, as told to Amnesty International or publicly recorded. And pseudonyms, of course, are used to protect privacy. And I've got 3 case studies here I want to refer you to. Case 1, I'll refer to the woman as Case 1. In late 1979, Case 1, age 17 and unmarried, became pregnant. Her family forced her to enter Marianvale here to have her baby. She spent 1 year here, during which time she turned 18, and reports having her life controlled, suffering ill treatment, and being forced to work without pay in the laundry right up until the birth of her child in 1980. And upon the birth, she was permitted by the nurse to hold her newborn son on just 1 occasion before he was seized and taken away by a nun from the Good Shepherd Sisters Convent and given to a family for adoption without the consent of his mother. Many years later, Case 1 saw the adoption papers for her son and says that her signature granting consent for the adoption had been forged on the form. Case 1 was not to see her son again until he was an adult. Case 2. Case 2, in 1951, was born in Marianvale Home for Mothers and Babies here behind me, and taken off her mothers by the nuns and placed in Nazareth House Children's Home, Ormo Road in Belfast. And there she reports suffering regular physical beatings and other abuse at the hands of the nuns charged with the duty of care towards the children. Identified as a problem child, aged 15 or 16, she was then transferred across the road to the Magdalene laundry operated by the Good Shepherd Sisters. And there she lived, working without pay in the laundry and for a family in the area until she left in 1971, aged 20. And the final case, Case 3. 21 years old and unmarried. Case 3 was thrown out of the family home when she became pregnant. She felt she had nowhere else to turn to but to Marianvale Home here. And inside she reports experiencing mental and physical abuse, including slapping by the nuns, and forced to do laundry and scrub floors right up to the hours before the birth of her child, who was taken away from her for adoption without her consent. And despite attempts to track down her son, she was unable to do so. She was reunited with her son 46 years later in 2010. So that's the information we have about Marianvale here behind me. A typical mother and baby home. They were all the same. Same things went on in them all. A scandal, a slur on our society. Thank you all for watching. And our next video will be posted in just a few days. Until then, namaste.